your step. Okay. Birth of Jesus.
Exodus 1?
No. Luke 2. There you go. There you go. Luke 2 is right. Okay. You did say it. Yeah. You did good. Birth of the church.
Acts 2.
That's right. Y'all are good tonight. Okay. Commandments. That's right. Good job. Okay. Love.
Genesis 1. Revelations 21.
Oh, you're really close.
1 Corinthians 12.
Okay, which one? If I had to guess, what's the man when he gets that part of his personality from? I'm not even okay. Okay. They got it from grandparents, obviously. So I'm assuming that. Okay. Let's go. Let's try to get. Okay. Jonah. Okay. Good job.
Now let me do my baby brother's here.
Okay. We got to get this. Okay.
Okay. I want to say the quiet one.
The what one?
The quiet one.
Okay. So what's the problem? Okay. Let's go over some of these again. Creation. Heaven. Okay. Birth of Jesus. Birth of Jesus. Birth of. Okay. Birth of church. Birth of Moses. Ten Commandments. Ten Commandments. Ten Commandments. No, we're not doing that yet. No. Ten Commandments. It's in the Old Testament. Okay, now let's see what's in 1 Corinthians. Contribution. Contribution. 16 is right. Love. Love. We're saying? Yes. Love. 13. Okay. Lord's Supper. That's right. Okay. Good job. Okay. We'll keep going. We'll eventually get them like the back of our hand there. Okay. How many sons did Jacob have?
12.
Okay. How many daughters?
1.
What's her name? Okay. Any of y'all want to come up and help me sing it?
I think you should have two.
No, don't be
You got too many eyes. Guess what?
We always do it.
Sure. I'll
And
do
you
it.
just say it out loud.
Okay. Wave at the crowd and smile. Okay. Okay. Wave at Kate. Okay. Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
You say it.
You want to see it? You want to say it?
I'm an honor student.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what that says. Okay. Now, anybody want to say your 12 sons before we sing it?
Me!
Go ahead. You say it, sing first. Go ahead.
Brothers, do you live in it? And then I got an answer. It's got a little and you don't
Yeah, you want to say it?
Hey, I have one next to me on the bathroom. And then if I got an answer, it's got something just like this. And these are something Jacob.
Anybody else? Okay. Well, they're already okay. Well, that's you trying to bribe me? Okay.
Even I have one more.
You got, look there. You got one ring I do. I don't have that in mind. You know that song?
He's giving money so he's charity.
I tell you how you can remedy that. I tell you how you can remedy that. When you get married, you won't have any of that in your pocket. Okay.
He's giving charity.
Okay.
I love you.
Okay. We'll put it up right now.
He's doing charity.
Okay, let's go ahead and sing Sunshine. Ready? Yes, I Joseph, these are the sons of Jacob. Bringing singing, we are to the day like our Yes, I Joseph, these are the sons of Jacob. Bringing singing, we are to the day like our Yes, I Joseph, these are the sons of Jacob. Bringing singing, we are to the day like our Good job. Okay. Okay, now we do Jesus Plus. We'll do it just regular speed, okay? Y'all are wound up.
No, faster, 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 faster.
Y'all are eating candy tonight. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Let's sing this one.
Yeah, we'll sing it ready. Yeah, okay. Ready?
Let's
We're going to do Jesus Plus. Yeah, okay.
Jesus Christ,
No. We're going to do it regular. Okay. Jesus loves me, this I know. Good job. Go get you a piece of candy. Good evening, everybody. Good to have you here. Have a good group here tonight. Just quickly, a few things. Had a good business meeting this afternoon. Not as many as we had hoped, but we spoke a lot of things, and we'll be giving the congregation some information before too long as we continue on some of the plans that we have set. And not only includes things as far as the building, but also includes programs as well, as far as trying to encourage our teachers, try to strengthen our teaching program, starting to work with our young ones, especially, you see these young boys up here in front, leading, singing, different things, so we're wanting to try to make a little bit more effort in some ways to bring them along, as well as some of the younger girls. There's things that the girls can always learn as well, as far as teaching class and various things. So those types of things that we're looking at trying to strengthen our congregation. So we appreciate everybody's prayers and your help when we start looking at who all that we can get committed and involved in helping us with those projects. Following the service tonight, Care Group 1 will be meeting in the activity building, and Jim's going to be talking about the trying to contact those members who were once here but are no longer, and trying to see if we can reconnect and in some way encourage them. And so that'll be part of that meeting as well. Our prayer list had just a few updates on our prayer list. Of course, Dale, he's here, feeling better, so that's good after a time of sickness. I'm Faye, how's Teresa doing?
She's doing good. She was, the lymph nodes they took out was cancer free, so that's
Okay.
if you see.
Good, good.
She's in a lot of pain, so it's
All right, so we appreciate everybody's prayers on Teresa's behalf, and I'm as well. Libby's, they made it back, didn't get any sleep, I don't think, so they may be still asleep. I'm trying to get caught up before the work week starts back, but they made it back home safely. Kevin Rice is here with us tonight after some issues with his knee, so it's good to have him back up and around as well. And then, we mentioned this morning, is in the bulletin, Larry Brock, or Dan Brock, who's Larry's brother-in-law. They had a visitation today, and the funeral will be tomorrow at 1 o'clock at Lewis Funeral Home in Fort Smith. Anything else that, updates or other things that we need to mention? Something I'm sure I did. No? All right. We're going to lead our singing tonight. First, Jim has a message. Who would word an opening prayer for us? Chris, and closing prayer. Okay, thank you. All right.
Let's go ahead and stand together to sing our opening song. It's We Fall Down. It's one we learned pretty recently. Not in our song, but let's sing it all. We fall down, we lay our crowns at the feet of Jesus, the greatness of mercy and love at the feet of Jesus, and we cry, holy, 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 we cry, holy, 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 and we cry, holy, holy, holy is the Lamb. We fall down, we lay our crowns at the feet of Jesus, the greatness of mercy and love at the feet of Jesus, and we cry, holy, 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 we cry, holy, 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 we cry, holy, holy, holy is the Lamb.
Our most gracious and loving Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this opportunity to come together again, to worship you and to sing praises to you. We pray, dear Lord, that the things we do tonight will be done in a manner to be well pleasing in thy sight. We also, dear Lord, would like to pray that you will grant your richest blessings upon those that are sick, needy, those that are bereaved. Watch over and bless them and give them the love and care and the help that you know that they need, but you know much better than us their needs. We ask your Lord to be with the leaders of this nation, watch over and bless them. May they look to you for the guidance they need to keep this nation strong. We pray, dear Lord, also that you be with the leaders of this church, this congregation here, that they too may look to you for the guidance that they need to keep this congregation strong and healthy. Watch over us always, dear Lord, and guide us in all things. We pray in Christ's name.
Amen. Please be seated. Did you put it in? Our invitation song, the slide with the invitation song on it is here just after this song, but it's going to be Just As I Am, I Come Broken. It's another one that's also not in our songbook. So, but we're going to sing number 615 and number 616. He keeps me singing in the way of the cross before the lesson this evening. Number 615, he keeps me singing. There's within my heart a melody, Jesus whispers sweet and low. Here I am with thee, peace be still, in all of thy ebb and flow. Jesus, 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 sweetest name I know, fills my every longing, keeps me singing. shall wing my flight to worlds unknown. I shall live with him on high. Jesus, 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 sweetest name I know, fills my every longing, keeps me singing as I go. I must needs go home by the way of the cross. There's no other way but this. I shall ne'er get silent of the gates of life if the way of the cross I miss. The way of the cross leads home. The way of the cross leads home. It is sweet to know as I onward go. The way of the cross leads home. Then I bid farewell to the way of the world, to walk in it nevermore. For my Lord says, come and I seek my home, where he waits at the open door. The way of the cross leads home. The way of the cross leads home. It is sweet to know as I onward go. The way of the cross leads home.
Good evening. You wire up. Good evening. Do that just in case. It's good to be here. Have a good crowd tonight. Good looking crowd. Hopefully, most of you have made plans to stay for the care group meeting. I like how we still call it care group 1, but it's the only one we have. So I guess it definitely indeed is care group 1. And, but it is, I think, an effective tool for the church. And tonight we're going to discuss some important things that is a little bit more suited to discuss, I think, in a smaller atmosphere like that. And generally the ones that stay are the ones that are the, they're the ones that are here generally for everything we do. So they're the ones to discuss things we're going to be discussing. A lot of things, a lot of excitement this year. And, our kids are, it seems like we have a good mix of them. I want to tell you, when you go to God in prayer, you need to be thankful, or we need to be thankful for our congregation here. There's a lot, we can always, talk about, well, this could be better, that could be better, we got more of this, have more numbers, whatever. But we have really been blessed in the last couple of years. And one of the things we've been blessed in is, and you have to go to the financial things, but, I know a lot of congregations that are not as blessed as we are with the financial things that we have, being able to take care of the roof and it not being an excessive burden like it is on so many. And so many things we have really been blessed, and we need to be thankful for it because there are some that are not. We need to be blessed. We have such a mix. A lot of congregations, I've talked to some other preachers, even in this area, that talk about how their congregation has almost no young people anymore. And so we have been blessed, and we need to be mindful of that and thankful to God. And not that we can't work to improve, and we need to take advantage of things, but definitely we have been blessed. Seems almost wrong now to talk about our lesson tonight, death and taxes. It's not long, it's going to be that time of year, tax season, and, it's interesting though, I really wonder if instead of, most people have, the amount taken out of their paycheck, and so, really they go to somewhere, they do it themselves, and the money's already been taken out, so really they're not paying, Uncle Sam, whatever. I wondered if it'd be different, if you had to actually, out of your bank account, actually had to write a check, if you realize it's your money to begin with, and they're just sitting aside for you, and then you kind of square it up at the end of the year and make sure you've done it right, or need to owe or get back a refund. But taxes are certain, you can, I guess, now technically, I guess you could get away, you could not pay your taxes, and eventually if you do that long enough, you eventually get you all room and board paid for free, and you don't have to worry about much anymore. They kind of restrict a lot of your rights, but, I guess anyway, if you were just so insistent, I'm not going to pay my taxes, eventually it does catch up with you, but if you want to live like most people in your own homes and, freely to go and whatever, you've got to pay taxes. And even beyond your income tax, you've got taxes, you go to the stores, you pay taxes on so many of your products. By the way, I'm told that people from overseas, that's something they have a hard time understanding, because my understanding is in Europe and other countries, the price of the tax is already included in the overall price. So basically what you pay is what you pay, and the tax is backed in by the retailer. So there is no, it's X and then you pay tax on top of it. But you pay tax when you get your gas and everything. So taxes are just ways of life. And there's really no way around that. You're going to have taxes. You can debate and argue, that it's too much, too little, but taxes are going to be part of your life. But debt. There's not a single one of us that's going to get cheap debt. So these are things that are definitely going to happen to us. So we can say no matter what, there's going to be taxes we have to pay in life. And we can say no matter what, at some point we're going to die. It's all that other in between that sometimes we can't say with certainty what things will happen again. Even, tomorrow, you may have appointments tomorrow. You may have a schedule tomorrow already. And yet, I guarantee you, there's things that possibly could come up that will change your schedule tomorrow. And I don't know how many times I plan to do this, that, and something will happen that totally change my schedule. And it seems like the farther out you plan, the worse it becomes. If you say, well, maybe in spring, I want to do this, then something will come up. And it always seems to, and even if it doesn't, your life is, so many things have changed. Think about when you were maybe a teenager, what you thought you would do for a living. Maybe when you first, got out of high school, what you thought your career would be. Maybe even when you got out of high school, and then maybe even some of you, in the American society now, and the way things are now, it's rare, it's becoming more and more rare that someone starts off with a job and then works until they retire that same job. And so even when you get in a job and you like it, it may be that 10 years, 5 years, or 20 years, that doesn't matter the time. At some point, you may have to change and go do something else. That's just life. Life is uncertain. You may think, you don't want to have X children, but then you may have one that, comes along and says, oh, I have another one, another blessing. Or, things may happen. There are uncertainties in life. But there are some things that we know for sure. In Hebrews 9:27-28 it says, and just as it's appointed for man to die once, and after that comes judgment. So Christ, having been offered once to bear the sins of many, will appear a second time, not to deal with sin, but to save those who are eagerly waiting for him. There's so much in those verses there, but the thing we need to understand, we all have an appointment. Some appointments you can kind of, you can maybe reschedule something, but our appointment with death will come one day. We just don't know when it will be, but one day we will have an appointment with death. Now you notice it's appointed to man to die once. In Revelation, we introduced the topic of a second death, where we're separated for all eternity from God. And that's referred to as a second death. But all that's been appointed for us is a first death, and it's up to us how we live in this life, whether or not we are immune from that second death. But judgment comes after we die. So not only do we die, we have judgment. Those are things that we are certain about. But Christ, he died for us. And those that eagerly wait, those that are the righteous, it'll be an exciting time when he comes back. Now, we're still studying Ecclesiastes, and we have all this wisdom, literature, and written by the wise men, I believe Solomon. And so here we're to chapter 9. One of the things we're going to see is that death does indeed come to all. No one will escape this. All die. Ecclesiastes 9:1-3, it says, "But all this I lay to heart, examine it all. How the righteous and the wise and their deeds, whether it's love or hate, man does not know. Both are before him. It is the same for all, since the same event happened to the righteous and the wicked, to the good and the evil, to the clean and the unclean, to him who sacrifices and him who does not sacrifice. And the good one is, so is the sinner. The one who swears is as who shuns an oath. This is an evil in all that is done under the sun, that the same events happen to all. Also the hearts of the children of man are full of evil, and madness in their hearts while they live, and after that they go to the dead." And the bottom line here is what the wise man is saying here is, it doesn't matter in one sense. You can be the best and most righteous person in the world, and yet at some point in time you're going to die. And also you can be the most wicked, vile thing in the world, and you may live a long time. You may enjoy a lot of prosperity in your life. You may do this, that, but at some point you have an appointment with death also. And you know, it's interesting because it should get us to focus. I think a lot of people don't like the book of Ecclesiastes because it's too blunt. And some people have said, well, you know, it just doesn't seem like it's positive, but it is indeed nothing but positive. The wise man, I believe, through inspiration, is trying to guide us in a way where we put things in focus. You know, the biggest thing you need to try to teach people, and especially young, is learn how to prioritize things in life. And there are things that have a different weight than others. You know, some things are much more important than other things. You know, you got to eat. So, you know, at some point you got to eat during the day. That's important, I want to tell you. And there are other things that are important. But some things, you know, maybe if you don't get to do something today, you know, that may not be as important. But we need to prioritize. And really what the wise man is saying is our lives should be prioritized towards God. Because ultimately we all are going to die. And it doesn't matter. And you may think because you're righteous, you're going to get advantages in life. In one sense, maybe you do from a spiritual standpoint, but as far as what your financial, as far as what your other things may be, as far as how long you live or don't live, it's probably not going to matter. Because both the righteous and unrighteous live and enjoy things in life, but the thing they have in common is no matter what, they all die. There is hope for the living. And I think you got to look for these little nuggets of really useful information here, these nuggets of hope that the wise man writes. He says in verse 4 of chapter 9, "But he who is joined with all the living has hope. For a living dog is better than life. For the living know that they will die, but the dead know nothing. And they have no more reward, for the memory of them is forgotten. Their love and their hate and their envy have already perished, and forever they have no more share in all that is done under the sun." Now, I like this because he says, you know, the living have hope. And I want to tell you, as long as you're alive, as long as you're breathing, you have a chance, if you're on the outside of God, if you're doing things that you shouldn't be doing, as long as you're alive, there's hope for you to change. As long as you're living, you can choose to serve God. As long as you're alive, you can turn around from whatever life you're living, and you can turn back towards God. You can become a Christian. You can do all these things. But once you die, it's too late. There is no more hope for you. I like this. You know, if you said which would be better, you know, as far as if you wanted to, wanted to scare your neighbors off, you know, didn't want to solicit people door to door come to your door. You know, which would it be better, to have a guard dog or have a lion? Well, of course, mine, you know, I guarantee you wouldn't hardly anybody come to your house if the lion was in your house, wouldn't it? But which would be better, a living dog or a dead lion? Well, a dead lion don't do a whole lot, does it? And even though it'd be scary and everything, you know, it's alive. By the way, I had a friend, my brother knew a friend, when we lived in Salisbury. His dad at that time worked in the oil fields in Iran. And one day he thought his son, because he would spend so much time, he, wanted to do something nice for his son, so he brought back a lion cub. Thought that'd be great. And started operating a little thing, but lions get big. They get really big. And a little scary. He had an 8-foot fence that he built around his property, just so he kind of could. That line, though, as soon as it got to that juvenile stage, it could jump that 8-foot fence like anything. And it was pretty tame, but anyway, they had to get rid of it, give it to a zoo of some kind. But the line's dead, it don't do anything, does it? The living is better. Now, we understand it's better for us that are faithful when we die, we go on to a better place. But what we're talking about here is, as long as we're alive, we have hope to do something positive for our ultimate eternal outcome. Once you die, you have no more say. You have no more to do with what's done under the sun. Oh, you can have an impact in the life you live and the examples you set, don't get me wrong, but as far as actually making decisions, you can no longer make that. You know, no one gets to ask you, would it be a good idea to buy this or buy that or do this? No more. Once you die. As long as you're alive, you have hope to make changes for the possible. The dead are forgotten. It says the memory of them is forgotten. Now, especially you think about it, the farther back you go, you didn't have, digital records and everything. At some point in time, everybody you know, and even in a sense, those that are famous. Yes, we got little snippets and we can read some autobiographies, but for the most part, at some point, everybody that you know, everybody that was around you, everybody that you ever met, at some point in time, they're going to die too. And at some point, no one will have any first-hand knowledge of you. And no one will really be able to say, yeah, this is how he really was. And for people that are, for the most part, the average person that's not famous, that gets written in books and everything, people will forget you. No one will know about you. They may go to the cemetery and say, oh, there's a person there. I wonder what they were. But the memory of you, as far as people actually know who you are. One thing we do know, and one thing that we do understand is God. Those that are his, God will forget you. But the dead are forgotten by the world. We enjoy life with love. That sounds good. Eat, drink with joy. Almost sounds like, well, that can't be biblical, can it? Well, Ecclesiastes 9:7 says, go eat your bread with joy and drink your wine with a merry heart, for God has already approved what you do. A lot of times we go about and, we maybe say, well, I'd really like to have steak and caviar. I don't even know. I don't think I like caviar, but anyway, steak, maybe potatoes. That's me. Steak, potatoes, good stuff. Maybe some seafood every now and then. Some that high dollar stuff. But we need to be grateful for whatever we have. We are blessed. I think back to my dad describing the way he grew up. And I imagine some of you here grew up in a time when food wasn't quite as easy to come by. And what food you did have. My wife, I tell people, I question her whether or not she's truly Southern, although I know she was born in Columbia, Tennessee, but she has never eaten Spam. And I don't know, have you ever eaten potted meat? No, never eaten potted meat. I just don't know. That potted meat, Spam, those are staples of people that, in the South that don't have a lot of money from time to time when you do certain things. It seemed like, but those type of things, as a kid, I didn't know that wasn't the stuff that you weren't supposed to like. I kind of liked it. It was okay. And you ate it. But you need to be happy with what you have. I mean, indeed, there are people that have worse than you, but when you have food, when you have the comforts of home, you need to be thankful to God. It's called, we call it, when you, with your family or whatever, and you're about to eat, you give thanks. Indeed, that's what we need to do. We need to be joyful for what we do have. There are those that have less. Yeah, there might be more to have more, but as long as we have what we need to sustain ourselves, we need to be joyful in what we do have. 1 John 1:3-4 says, that which we have seen and heard, we proclaim also to you, so that you too may have fellowship with us. Indeed, our fellowship is with the Father and with His Son, Jesus Christ, and we are writing these things so that our joy may be complete. One of the things that should stand out about Christians is the joy that we have. And the joy we wish to bring to others. And we just left a season where everybody likes to bring joy to everything. The holiday season, everybody's all excited about that. But for Christians, that should be year-round, 24/7. we should desire to bring joy, and as Christians, when we're gathered together, that should be the most joyful time of our lives. These times that we get together to fellowship one another, these times that we get together to worship God, we should be full of joy. Dressed for success. Ecclesiastes 9:8 says, let your garments be always white. Let not oil be lacking on your head. Now, basically the concept is, we shouldn't go around dressing like old miserable men. And it's really not necessarily about the garments we wear, although garments used to indicate more, especially when there's some time of mourning or whatever. But the truth of the matter is, once again, we need to be people that are basically positive. The most positive, optimistic people, I think, should always be Christians. And as a result, we should enjoy life. Back to our text, Ecclesiastes 9 and 10 says, enjoy life with the wife whom you love. All the days of your vain life that he has given you under the sun, because that is your portion in life. And in your toil, at which you toil under the sun, whatever your hand finds to do, do it with your might. For there is no work or thought or knowledge or wisdom in Sheol to which you are going. Reminds me of in Colossians where it talks about, what we do, we're to do it heartily as to the Lord. And here we see this, we should enjoy life. We should do it for, the glory of God. We should do it with the ones we love. What's more important than doing things with people we love, people we care about? Enjoy life with the wife whom we love. We should love our wives more. We should enjoy our life with them. Wisdom is ultimately better than folly. Over and over. That seems to be a recurring theme in the book of Ecclesiastes. In verse 11 and 12 it says, again I saw under the sun, the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, nor bread to the wise, nor riches to the intelligent, nor favor to those with knowledge, but time and chance happen to them all. For a man does not know his time, like fish that are taken in an evil net, and like birds that are caught in a snare, so the children of men are snared at the evil time when it suddenly falls upon them. You might not follow this thought, but time and chance happen to us all. And from the people that are the wealthiest people in the world to the people that are the poorest, time and chance has had a lot to do with it. You can have two people that start off almost similar circumstances, but time and chance may be it. You look at the list of people who are billionaires, and you look at them, and yes, they're very smart, very intelligent people, but you look at their lives, and time and chance had a lot to do with it. People like Bill Gates and even Bezos, they came around at just the right time. And chance has had something to do with it. Oh, yes, their skill has, but yet time and chance has had that. And you see some people that have, they do things at the wrong time. Or they were just a little too late to have that good idea. Or chance happened and they get, something strikes them down with poor health. Or they have an accident or whatever it may be. But time and chance happen to all on earth. Man does not know his time. We have an appointment with death, but we don't know when that appointment is. We can't look at the calendar and say, let's see. 2 weeks from Thursday, that would be a good day. We don't get that. It could be any day. We don't know that we'll even be back together with all that are here. One sinner destroys much good. It is true. One thing can really make a lot of bad. Ecclesiastes 9:17-18 says, the words of the wise heard in the quiet are better than the shouting of a ruler among fools. Wisdom is better than weapons of war, but one sinner destroys much good. And we know that one bad thing can wind up ruining everything else. I think it's like that in church. I think it's like that in society. And yet sometimes everything that gets attention is the bad or the evil. I think James highlights probably the most minor thing we might think of. There are things we think about sins, and we think of, we like to kind of categorize sins as big sins, little sins. The Bible never does that, by the way. One of the things the Bible talks as being a really bad thing is your tongue. How you speak. James 3:5-6 says, so also is the tongue is a small member, Yet it boasts of great things. How great a forest is set ablaze by such a small fire. And the tongue is a fire, a world of unrighteousness. The tongue is set among our members, staining the whole body, setting on fire the entire course of life, and set on fire by hell. We see over and over again that a word spoken out of rage, or a word spoken, derogatory, or a word spoken, against someone can do long-term, long-lasting damage. One sin, one little sin can have long-term repercussions. Wisdom is indeed better than folly, but we're not talking about just how wise you are in this earth. We're talking about godly wisdom. And as we looked at over and over, 1 Corinthians 1:18 says, the word of the cross is folly to those who are perishing, but to us who are being saved, it is the power of God. And we need to be resolute in this. We need to be firm in that. And I know it's easy to get discouraged. It's easy to get angry. We see these different things. We see in our own land things that I want to tell you, I don't think our founders of our country would ever imagine. I don't think even people 30, 20 years ago would ever imagine. But, we have people, I know they posted on some site the religious affiliations of the various people in Congress. And although the majority of them are still Christian, there are some that really are really bizarre for what we think as our leaders. There's at least one that basically is an atheist. There are those that are Hindu. There are those that are Muslim. And on the list goes. But we understand that's not wisdom. That doesn't really directly affect how we live and how we should show and demonstrate to the world the wisdom of God. Ultimately, I think Ecclesiastes is about the wise and the preacher, as he calls himself sometimes, preaching wisdom. And I like how the writings climax in a way where he puts it to the end of the matter, you might say. And so we can go on and on about these things, and most of these things it's hard to disagree with. And some of these things we may not like, but the truth of the matter is it's true. Ultimately, what is your life worth? What will it accomplish? What does it matter? You see, we all will die. Many of us will be forgotten 50, 60, 100 years from now. What will it matter? Well, see, it only really matters if we live in godly on this earth. Ecclesiastes 12:13-14, he concludes by saying the end of the matter, all has been heard. Fear God and keep his commandments. For this is the whole duty of man, for God will bring every deed in judgment of every secret thing, whether good or evil. Truly, wisdom is better than folly, but how wise is it to live a life where you do nothing, eat, drink, and be merry, and you don't do the things that God has commanded? We know that would be utter foolishness. It is much more wise to live this world, live this life in utter poverty, but yet put God first and know you have eternal life with him. I don't know where your spiritual state is right now, what's your relationship with God, but if you're not a Christian, I want to tell you that needs to be your number one priority. Because only that's going to show wisdom. Jesus said, whoever believes and is baptized will be saved. Whoever does not believe will be condemned. Outside indeed, you have your sins washed away this very night. Or maybe here tonight, maybe, the parts of the world that have been enticing you too much, drawing you away from things that you know you should do. Maybe you need to make that right this very night. Do you have any need at all? Come now, let's get up and stand.
Just as I am without your leave, but that thy blood was shed for me, and that thou bidst me come to thee, O Lamb of God, I come. stand together and sing the first verse of this song, Come Thou Fountain of Blessings before we. Come Thou Fountain of every blessing, to my heart to sing thy praise. Streams of mercy never ceasing, call for songs of loudest praise. Teach me ever to adore thee, may us still thy goodness prove, while the hope of endless glory fills my heart with joy and love.
Father in heaven, we thank you so much for the day we've had together to worship you and learn more about your word. Father, we pray that you would go with us as we go out into the world this week. Pray that we would be a good example of what a Christian should be, and that our behavior and our attitudes would have others to want to know more about you. Father, we thank you for the healing that you provided for those that have been sick. We pray that you would continue to heal those that need your healing. Father, watch over us and protect us and return us back at the next appointed time. In Christ's name I pray.